What's up? You're watching the Wildcaster postgame. I'm Alec White with the Arizona Daily Star, and joined next to me is Michael Lev and Justin Spears. And fellas, I'm going to open this, I'm going to steal a line from your story that you can all read on Tucson.com in the Wildcaster app. Mistakes on this field by Arizona have not been made like this since, the last time we saw Arizona take the field at Arizona Stadium. The Wildcats fall 38-14 to San Diego State in the jedd-fisch home opener, just under 40,000 in attendance, and it was a very disappointing game from Arizona on all sides. Justin, we're going to start with you tonight.
Yeah.
If you were to pick out the thing that Arizona fans should take away most from this is what?
The fact that at Arizona Stadium, over the last two games, Arizona's been outscored, 108 to 21? 108 to 21, going back to the 70-7 Territorial Cup loss that ultimately got Kevin Sumlin canned, and that's the reason why jedd-fisch came along, right? To win football games and to restore Arizona football back to what it used to be. And you know what? I think Arizona took a big step back. I know that San Diego State wasn't going to be a pushover, but the way we were describing this game, we all thought Arizona was going to come in and take care of business. It just seems like a must-win game for Arizona. I even said it seemed like a can't-lose game for Arizona. I saw no situation with Arizona losing tonight. And what do? They came out, they looked flat on offense, they looked extremely flat on defense, giving up a bunch of big plays. Greg Bell could do whatever he wanted to in the run game. And San Diego State came out and they played bully ball, and it didn't look like the Arizona team that we saw in the second half last week against BYU. So the Wildcats, they took a step back, and now 14-game losing streak. Things are not looking good for Arizona, and the jedd-fisch era is off to a rocky start.
And it got off to a rocky start almost immediately from the jump. San Diego State got the ball, Arizona won the toss and deferred, and within 90 seconds, San Diego State had a big play, and they're inside the red zone, and then they score to open the game. And then from there, Arizona goes 3 and out. Then San Diego State scores again, and then, as if it couldn't get any worse in the first quarter, Arizona goes 3 and out, and what happens? A blocked punt goes up in the air off the foot of Kyle Ostendorf, and then San Diego State recovers, takes it in, and within 7-8 minutes, Arizona's down 3 scores, and really from that point on, it just felt like that was too much for the offense to overcome, because Gunnar Cruz was really ineffective the whole night.
This game was lost by Arizona at the line of scrimmage, right? And San Diego State beat them up. You described it as bully ball. Mm-hmm. Justin, that's exactly what it was. They were the more physical team. And it's going to take a while for Arizona to become the type of tough physical team jedd-fisch wants them to be. He basically acknowledged that after the game. I asked him, what was your post-game message? And he said, if anyone thought this was going to be easy, they're out of their mind, right? Kind of gave a little bit of that trust the process.
Yeah, said it's a process.
It is a process. And I think, I think we were fooled again by week 1. I didn't think coming out of that game that it was the same as last year, because they outgained BYU, right? They didn't have a situation. Remember in that opener last year, USC was in the red zone 8 times, and they only scored 4 times. Okay, so there was a sort of a fluky element to it. I mean, they pretty much went toe-to-toe with BYU.
Yeah.
To figure out BYU, physical team, they'll be able to take that, bring it out here. Was not the case at all. They were sloppy on defense. There was very little backside pursuit, all kinds of big plays by the Aztecs. Offensively, they could not get anything going, and jedd-fisch seemed kind of flummoxed after the game. I think it was you, Justin, who asked him what the quarterback plan was going to be going in next week, and he's like, I don't know. He's really unsure. I have my own opinions. I think maybe we'll talk about it a little bit later here in the post game, but this is the first real crisis that he's faced, and they're probably going to beat NAU, because NAU is an FCS team that's 0-2.
That's what Washington
said. And they usually, it's true. I mean, you can't assume anything with with this team that's on a 14-game losing streak. But I mean, after that, hey, at Oregon, back here against UCLA, I mean, those two teams are in the college football playoff conversation right now.
Yeah.
And Arizona is light years away from being at that level.
Yeah, and so we talked about the ineffectiveness of Gunnar Cruz. Will Plummer came in the second half. He had a nice moment. Maybe the one or two bright spots of the game. He threw his first touchdown pass to Tavion Cunningham, and then the next series, as Arizona's playing catch-up here late in the fourth quarter, the game out of reach. But Tavion Cunningham made a ridiculous grab in double coverage, sets up Arizona inside the 10-yard line. They would have scored. The next play was a touchdown, but it gets called back because of a holding penalty. Will Plummer, we talked to him after the game, and he just said, his mentality was he was going to go in there and sling it. He didn't care what the situation was, what the score was, how the team was feeling. He was just going to go do his job, and he did that. And let's talk about that quarterback battle now.
Yeah. It's heating up.
It is. It is. What do you do if you're jedd-fisch? You've got a conundrum now because you've gone to Will Plummer. You gave Gunnar Cruz the majority of the snaps, even when we thought maybe earlier in this game that Cruz was going to be removed. Fish stuck with him pretty much for 2.5 quarters before going to Plummer. Now you've got some question marks. Justin, what do you think?
Unfortunately, it's one of those games where it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't, because they should come out and beat NAU, and I feel like any quarterback that you put in this situation, they're going to look great under. But what's going to happen when you put them against a team like Oregon or a team like UCLA? Listen, jedd-fisch has stuck with Gunnar Cruz for 2 games. He's given him the nod in both contests. Why not try something different? Have Will Plummer go out and play the first half against NAU, see how he does, and then maybe throw in a quarterback like Gunnar Cruz. But maybe at that point, the game might be out of reach for NAU. So I'm not really sure what jedd-fisch is going to do. I don't even think he knows what he's going to do at this point. They still need to go and watch the film. But, me personally, I think after watching tonight, Will Plummer, the reason why he's playing like the way he did in the second half is because he's like, I got nothing to lose. I've been on the sideline this whole time watching Gunnar Cruz play. I come out, I wouldn't say play reckless, but play not so stiff
and play freely
and play loose. If he does that, then you just let the chips fall where they may.
And Gunnar Cruz, his pass attempts, yardage per attempt was 4 yards, less than 5 yards per attempt. Will Plummer came in and was testing the field at least deep and connecting on a few long passes. I think that maybe helps his situation.
Yeah, look, the circumstances were different, right? I think at that point in the game, it's pretty much garbage time.
Yeah.
San Diego State's not going to be as aggressive defensively. There's situations you can take care of. But having watched the two of them since spring, having watched them in these games now, it's to some extent you are what you are, right? And we saw Gunnar Cruz have a tendency to hold onto the ball too long. And we were worried going into real games, whether that would lead to sacks and the offense breaking down. And it has, right? It's hard, when we're watching the game to see if receivers are getting open. Maybe they're not, but he's not seeing the field clearly right now. You're holding the ball as long as he is in these situations, knowing that you're being blitzed. To me, that's kind of a worrisome sign.
Well, especially because they knew San Diego State was going to bring the pressure.
That's exactly right. Will Plummer, he's kind of a gunslinger, for better or worse. I think, over the long haul, he's probably going to throw more interceptions than Gunnar Cruz will. Yeah. But he also might make more plays. Mm-hmm. He's willing to take more chances. He's a little bit more athletic. He processes a little bit faster. I thought he should have played the entire second half, just sort of like, let's see what we've got here, with the score being, 35-7 at halftime. I'd like to see a change just for the sake of, let's see what happens, right? Let's see if maybe this works. Maybe this is better. Maybe our initial, the coaches, maybe their initial evaluation was off.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't see them play in games.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's always different in games.
Well, also, think too, you have this co-starter mentality, right? That this is what you're telling everyone. These guys, we're going to give them both reps. Well, you've given the lion's share of the reps to Gunnar Cruz. Now that you're 0-2, things look bad. Hit the reset button. Allow Will Plummer to handle the offense as the guy. And I think if you tell Will Plummer that early on in the week and you allow him to take reps with the ones, it gives him that confidence and he's going to be ready to go against NAU.
It's tough though, because you kind of anointed Gunnar Cruz as the guy, and then you're pulling him after only 2 games. After he, and after the first game when he threw for 336 yards, completed like 75% of his passes, looked pretty good overall. Oof, I mean that's gonna kill his confidence. So it's a difficult
tough
decision.
to flip flop and flip flop back
Yeah.
and forth and continually go back and forth between
that's
both guys.
One of the kind
a
of
possibility.
side effects of having a 2 quarterback system is there's always these questions, and we still have them.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll see if Arizona can answer some of those questions next week here as they take on NAU in search of ending the 14-game losing streak. But until then, you can check out all of tonight's post-game coverage on the Wildcaster app and on Tucson.com. And be sure to check us out at the Wildcaster on Twitter. Live updates throughout the week. We got press conference clips from Fish and players tonight, and we'll keep having that the rest of the week. I'm Alec White. He's Michael Lev. He's Justin Spears. You're watching the Wildcaster. We'll see you next week.